Hi, welcome to Cottage Industry Fibers podcast. My name is Kim, and I am Continental Kim on Ravelry, Plurk, and Instagram. You may have noticed I am not by myself today. I have my best friend Kristin with me, but I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself.
I am Kristin. I am Kim's other half.
Yes.
To her husband's chagrin, I think. I am Come to Silver on Plurk. I'm K-Bell on Ravelry. And you may know me from ComeToSilver.com and author of Silver Soft Class. We'll talk about that later.
Yep. Sounds good. I think what we're going to do is this podcast is going to be a little bit not about me at all, because I just taped my last podcast last night, but I wanted to get Kristin as a guest and hopefully encourage her to do this more often.
That's why we are in my craft room.
Yes, we're on location in the craft room.
Yes.
Of Kristin, genius behind Silver Soft Class. Yes. So anyways, so pretty much I just have one whip and one spinning project, because I pretty much showed everybody everything last night when I recorded. But we're going to go through kind of Kristin's whips and also talk a little bit, like she said, about her class and a really cool giveaway that we have at the end. So go for it.
Okay, let's see. First, I will show you my recently finished projects. They both need to be blocked. I don't know where I get that from.
I don't know either. All my stuff is blocked.
This has been finished for probably a couple months, but still needs to be blocked. This is... Can you see that?
Do I need... Here, you want me to help stretch it? Oh,
this
sorry.
is our friend Karina's Sardinian shawl, and it's going to block out to be much bigger.
Yes.
Hold the bottom
Can we...
there. Yeah.
Here,
just,
wait. Oh.
Just stretch. There.
There we go.
So it's kind of a rectangular shawl, and I think it'll fit nicely on my shoulders. And yeah, so that's finished, and this is out of Verdant Griffin.
No. Eidos?
Eidos. In the Mystère. What's the black color?
Mystère, like
it's the black color.
Yeah, it's black.
It's black. Okay, and then this one,
wait, I have a quick question about this one. How was it knitting with all black?
It was fine, actually. I would not recommend that for a beginner.
Okay.
But, I don't know, it was okay for me.
Because I have not knit with all solid black before. I think I've done, like black stripy sock skeins, but not any lace work with all black.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, as long as I had good lighting. So,
okay, cool.
Don't want to work on this in the movie theater.
No.
And then the other project that I finished recently, I cast this one on over a year ago. Oh, no.
Oh, stop. I'm spinning, and it literally, the hooks from the flyer just like snagged the edge of her shawl.
Okay,
oops.
Let's keep this over here.
Okay, I'm going to stop spinning while she's showing large shawl projects.
Okay.
Hold on, let me put this away. Oh, crud. Okay. We're good.
This is the Fiore de Sol. And I don't know who it's by.
Well, look, I'll look it up and
we'll figure it out later.
You'll see it like right here. It'll go on there.
It'll be magic.
Here, can you see look at the pretty lace and the beads. Can you guys see the beads?
I added the beads. They're not in the pattern.
Isn't that pretty?
But I just loved it. And this will block out to be considerably longer too. So I don't know if you can really see the size of that.
Blocked out, it's going to be like 36 inches long, do you think?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a pretty nice size.
Mm-hmm.
And this is done with Jaeger Zephyr, is that correct?
Yeah, that's their like silk merino blend.
That's exactly it. And it's, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a light silver gray color.
What? You picked silver gray?
I picked silver. So there's that, and I will probably be blocking these this week because I cleaned my craft room yesterday, so I have all this room for blocking.
Very cool.
This little person that just hopped up wants to say hi. This is Jinx. Okay, she's camera shy.
Oh, is she camera shy? Here, I will hold her for a minute while you show your projects.
Okay, that's Jinx. Let's see, so those are my finished projects. And what I'm working on now, let's see, we'll start with this one. I'm knitting a sock. Imagine that. I have one sock finished. And this is a knee-high in, I'm really not prepared for this, I don't remember.
Yeah, we're kind of going on the fly with this.
Right.
So I'll go back and I'll look up the patterns if there, like
There
this is
isn't a pattern for this. I just kind of threw it together.
That's Mind the Gap, isn't it?
That's, yes, Mind the Gap by,
Oh gosh, that I don't know.
we'll figure that out for you. But yeah, I did not use a pattern for this. It's an afterthought heel. Toe up, afterthought heel, and I did some calf shaping on the back. You see that?
Cool.
And one thing I did on this one, a little that I've never done before on a sock, is I started, well, you can see the line here. That's a faux seam down the back. It's just a slip stitch every other row. And I put the shaping on either side of that center stitch. But something that I did is, I don't know if you can really tell because this isn't blocked or anything, but you see how it kind of curves in just a little bit at the back of the ankle? I decreased 4 stitches, maybe 6 stitches over several rows to just bring it in a little bit right around the back of the heel, and I'm amazed at how well that fits.
Did that work? Because that's what I always have. I always have like at the ankles where it just wants to swoosh down.
Yeah, it's not bunching. It just, kind of grabs your ankle, and then I've got the shaping back up the leg. So
That's cool. Now, do you think...
that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you think that would be necessary on like a ribbed, or do you think it's best applied on like a straight vanilla sock?
I didn't really give it that much thought.
Okay.
So, I don't know. But I do have the other one is on the needles. I am using the little, what is this, the 9-inch Hiya.
Yeah.
It's not a sock rocket, but it's, like that. And there's where the afterthought heel will go in. And I've done that back of the heel shaping there. So that's that.
Cool. Yeah, I can't believe I can't remember who does Mind the Gap.
Trailing Clouds.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That'll make it easier for me to find later.
And that's just in just a little cotton project rad. I love these kind for socks because they're squishy. You can throw it in your purse and not have to worry about anything fancy. So that's that. That's that project. Cool. The one that I'm working on right now actively is my Viajante.
We tend to finish each other's sentences
We
as
do
well.
that.
Yes.
I was just telling her I watched her recent podcast last night, and she was grasping at a word, and I was automatically finishing her sentence for her.
But it doesn't work when you're not there.
It doesn't work when you're not there. She still grasped for the word. Anyway, this is my Viajante, and this is out of Malabrigo lace in Iris. There it is right there.
Oh, I'm going to get this.
I love this colorway so much. I'm a crazy person, and I bought 15 skeins of it.
There you go.
I don't need 15 skeins for this. Arcos Iris. That's what I'm using. So, it's going to be my Viajante. It's going to take forever. But that's okay. And I'm using my Hiya Sharps because these are my favorite needles, my interchangeable set.
Leslie on the Knit Girls podcast, she was making one of these recently, and I swear it seemed like she finished it with beads on the edging on the bottom. I swear it seems like she finished it in like 2 weeks, maybe 3.
Now let me just say, I have to bring this up. I don't know what your impression of Kim and her progress on projects, but I told her that the other day after I watched episode 4, I was like, so this is my impression of Kim talking about her projects. I've just finished this whole flock worth of fiber that I've spun up. I've got 4,700 skeins of it. I just did that last week. Also, I have 17 skeins of this one. And yeah, that took like 3 days. And let's see, I knit a whole sweater and 3 shawls and 14 pairs of socks last week. Is it just me?
No, it's not that way.
She's very productive. Let's just put it that way.
What it is that I have a lot of whips that I'm like halfway through, And then I go back and I pull them out. And then I finish them. And then it looks like I did a whole project in like this amount of time, but I didn't.
Okay, but I have seen her like start a project and then a week later she's almost done with it. So that's no joke.
What else you got there? I see more stuff.
Anyway, let's see. Okay, those are my knitting projects. I'm not really working on a whole lot. For spinning,
Actually, I have a knitting project real quick.
Okay,
I'll interject
before
for
I
just a
go
second.
into spinning.
Yeah. What I did, talking about projects that I have whips, I know just yesterday when I was taping my podcast, I was saying that the next thing that would go on my sock needles would probably be the Bad Amy Club's gain from this month. But I wanted to come with a project that uses a technique that Kristin's sock class talks about. Because a lot of times I work with DPNs now, but when I first learned how to do socks, I learned from her tutorial. And this is before we were friends. I mean, I think I found your tutorial and that's how I found you.
Mm-hmm.
Being local.
Because you emailed me. Yeah, you found my website and
right. And
an email.
I don't think I tried it until after the first time we met, but I think the first time we met was at like a Knit in Public and we just hung out and your mom was there and your sister was there too, right?
My sister was there. I'm not sure if my mom was there.
Maybe not.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I do remember Danny being there, but but anyway, so I had met her the one time, and then I went home and I tried the sock tutorial, and that's how I learned how to do socks. I had no idea about working two circulars at the same time, which I think is what I started with, but anyways, that's a long story just to tell you that I didn't want to necessarily go into just a straight vanilla sock on DPNs. So instead I pulled out a work in progress that I actually tried to start 3 times and pulled it out 3 times. So even though it's technically a whip, it was completely back into 2 balls of yarn. But it does use, I'm using magic loop. You can use many other techniques, but this is the Stitch Surfer sock that a lot of people are doing. It's from Knitty, and you can see how it's 2 different colorways of yarn, and then the as you're knitting along you kind of move, you decrease one side and you increase the other so that the split in the color starts to shift direction, and it will actually shift back and forth. That's why it's called Stitch Surfers. It's a free pattern on Knitty, and I'm really enjoying it now that after the 3 other times I tried to cast it on, that last time I really had it down. I was doing good, and I'm like, okay, this is working for me now. Mm-hmm. And then I realized my gauge was way off because I was using size 1 needles when I was supposed to be using size 2s. And there is no hope of this sock ever fitting my foot. I mean, it would be lucky to get it around just my toes, you know. So I pulled the whole thing back out again, and I am using Addy sock rockets in a size 2. And now it's going along swimmingly, and these areas where you have this transition, I've not done intarsia before doing this sock. And the directions are pretty clear. There's a bunch of tutorials out there too that help with, you know, knowing how to make those transitions a little bit tighter. This is actually, what I've been showing you is kind of the sole of the sock, and here's the, I think it's a little cleaner with the you know, the part on the top of your foot. But what's that called?
The instep.
Oh, see, she knows.
Caught me off guard there.
Yeah, so that's the instep. Okay, we're back. We had a little emergency for a second there. We're really flying by the seat of our pants and using a new camera, and realized that our memory was about to go out because I forgot to switch the camera over to the
external memory.
Thank you. Rather than the internal memory card. So we should be good to go from here on out. But that was all I really had to say about the Stitch Surfer. It is a enjoyable knit now that I've figured out that I should not be knitting it in such a tight gauge. I should look at the instructions next time.
Sounds a good idea.
Okay, so what you got?
Okay, so this is my drop spindling project, and I have it in this cute little Erin Lane bag that I picked up at Stitches.
That's awesome.
I love it. It's perfect for this drop spindle because it is a tiny little Jenkins. Isn't that cute?
Those are so cute. I love them.
This is the Jenkins Delight, the Turkish Delight, which was, I think that's his original Turkish spindle, was the Delight. And he has Jenkins, what's his name?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Mr. Jenkins.
Mr. Jenkins. Yes, that's his name.
Yes, that's his name. Anyway, he has expanded into several different sizes of Jenkins. Back here, I don't know if you can see it.
And I duck my head away.
No.
No.
See the pink square? Right above that?
Oh, okay.
There's
Here.
2 more Jenkins over there.
I'll get them. Oh my gosh.
One of them has an alien on him.
Yes. That's not what the oh my gosh was. I forgot how small this other one was.
Yeah.
So
So anyway, there's just a little silly alien finger puppet on
but
that.
here's the one she's got that's the larger one. Do you know what wood that is? Oh, spalted tamarind.
Yes.
So he puts all the information kind of on the bottom of the legs there. So that's the big one. But look at this in comparison. Here, you want to put that one up?
This one, that one is the swan, which is the daddy of the family. And then we've got the drop spindle.
No, that's not a toy for the puppies.
Okay. So this one is the, I don't know if it'd be the mama or, I don't know, teenager.
Yeah.
This is the daddy. And then there is the baby. This is the Cthulhu.
That was crazy small.
Look at that. That's a spindle.
And I have the lark, and I think the lark is a little bigger than that one, than this one.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the arms are about the same.
Yeah, they do look about the same.
But the shaft is a little bit longer.
Yeah, and it was kind of neat when I got it. I don't know if they do it anymore. You have the option of getting 2 shafts. So one of my shafts is the size of the Delight, and then the lark shaft is the longer one. So we were able to do both.
And then
which
you
is
can
pretty
get,
cool.
I believe you can get a 3rd shaft, which will turn your lark into a J, which I think the lark is bottom whorl. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
The J is more of a mid whorl.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The shaft is a little bit different diameter, so that the arms fit higher on the shaft.
I gotcha.
But anyway, so that's my Jenkins, and in conjunction with my tiny little spindle, I'm using this wrist die staff, so I can spin just like that and take it wherever I go.
That's awesome. We got those at the Carolina Homespun, right?
Yes, got this at Carolina Homespun, and it has there's a wraps per inch tool here. Can't see it because it's wrapped in yarn, but there's a WPI tool right there. So that comes in handy, and the whole thing, so tiny and portable, fits in this little tiny Aran Lane bag, along with extra fiber. Highly portable, so you can take it around and scare the muggles everywhere. Because they're like, what is that person doing? So that's my portable spinning. And then back here behind me on my Joy, I'm working on some loop fiber. This is merino, nylon, and Angelina because I have to have sparkles. Sparkles are good.
Are they silver sparkles?
They are silver sparkles.
I'm shocked.
No coincidence. Sparkle is my favorite color.
Next to pink
And silver.
and silver.
And Tiffany blue. Anyway. So that's that. I really want to get this finished so that I can work on some stuff that I picked up at Stitches. Not that I don't love that. I love it. It's a transitioning skein or bump of fiber. I don't know if you've worked with loop. Loop is fun because I have another one back there. But it's a bump of fiber. You pull it from the center.
I don't see it.
It's that dark one right behind the camera.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I'm just the gopher today.
It's my craft room.
I know. No, I'm totally fine with that. I'm the dog sitter. I'm
Sorry,
the
I wasn't
gopher.
really ready for this. This is my very first podcast, so.
You're doing great.
Anyway, loop fiber is fantastic because it comes ready to spin like this. It's a bump, and you pull from the center, and there's no pre-drafting, there's no prep whatsoever. You just start spinning it, and you end up with this transitioned,
Like a gradient.
yeah. And I'm going to probably, what's it called?
Navajo ply?
Navajo ply. See? See? I will Navajo ply it so that it will stay in its nice color shift. So,
Navajo plying is also called end plying, and essentially what you wind up doing is when you crochet, you make a loop with the fiber, and then you use your crochet hook to reach through that loop and pull through the next little loop of fiber. You're essentially doing the same thing with your spinning, except you're making much longer loops and you're kind of using your hand to reach through that loop and pull the next little bit of single through.
I never thought of it that way, but yeah, it's very similar to crochet chain.
Right,
Crochet
yeah. And so it's like a really long crochet chain with really big loops. And the reason to do that is because it maintains that really pretty color transition.
It obviously doesn't stay in a chain because you're spinning it and it's all twisted together.
Right, right.
But-
So you can't see that it was done that way, but it maintains those color transitions. And sometimes I'll like to do that with a braid of fiber that's not even dyed to be a gradient, but because I love the way that the colors transition through that braid, I'll do a Navajo ply on that as well,
I
just
should
to
have
keep it
brought my
that way.
Sweet Dreams in here because that's the way I applied that, and the finished shawl is all gradient, kind of
yeah.
stripy. So.
But anyways, that's just a little input for in case you weren't aware or hadn't heard of Navajo plying before.
So those are my projects. I'm not working on a whole lot of stuff. So mainly I'm working on my Viajante. So that's pretty vanilla knitting, I think. Yeah. So stash and hack enhancements. One thing that I got a little while ago, but I love it so much because this person, not only is she a great person, she's a lot of fun, but her colors are like she's in my head. It's like she just reaches in my head and she pulls out and she makes the stuff. And you could probably guess, looking around my craft room, I like lots of colors.
Yes.
So I picked this up from Kirby Werby. Her name is Cherie, and she sells on Etsy, and this is Bermuda Triangle. Can you see that? Look at the colors.
They're going to look even better. We've got a little view screen that we can see, and when I was recording, I was like, oh, it's not showing the colors right, but I think it'll show. Those are like vibrant highlighter colors.
And sparkle. See the
And
sparkle? Anyway, I love this. I can't wait to knit with that.
Are you going to just do vanilla sock, do you think? Or
I don't know. I think it would be really fun as a shawl.
oh,
So I haven't decided, but yeah, I want to make something great with that.
that'd be cool.
Cherie is really sweet. If you haven't been to her site, it is kirbywerbyyarns.etsy.com.
And I'll put a little down here for
Right,
that
she
as
is
well.
absolutely brilliant, dying. I love her stuff. She's a great person too. And we'll see her at Rhinebeck.
Rhinebeck?
Yes,
We're
can't
going
wait.
to Rhinebeck.
We're going to Rhinebeck. So that's that. Kirby Werby Yarns.
We're not bringing the puppies with us, though.
No, not bringing the puppies. There are two puppies. The other one is sitting over there in his bed. That's Hex over there. Jinx is the attention hog, and literally,
She'll come and hang out with me when I come to visit, but Hex usually doesn't.
yeah.
Only if I have treats.
Bacon.
Bacon.
So, some of my stash enhancements. The reason why I want to get that finished, the loop back done, is because I really want to spin this amazing braid.
It's crazy bright.
Look
That's
at
awesome.
how wonderful. It's totally me. There's no sparkle in it, but, you know, not everything has to have sparkle. Did I just say that?
I think you did.
This is from Nitty and Color. And The color is called Rainbow Snow Cone.
That's awesome.
And this is Merino and Silk 80/20. And it's 4 ounces. So
Very cool.
that will be my next spinning project. Some other things. Let's see. Oh, this is another knitting color. I got this one at the same time.
That looks like the same colors, but just like with a little white in it, huh?
Yeah. And with all that white in it, it's going to be much more pastel once it's spun up, which I love. I love bright colors and pastels. Not so much a muted color fan, although this is more muted, so maybe I am. It's probably her rubbing off on me.
Well, that's okay, because I knit with a lot more pink now than I ever did
This
before.
is true. She does have a lot more pink. This is called Milky Way. It's also by Knitty and Color. And this one is Superwash Merino, which is actually my favorite fiber to spin because it's just wonderful. I mean, you can do so much with it. You can make socks and not have to worry about, you know, it felting.
Nice.
Not too much anyway. But that's that one. This one, I just loved the colors of it.
Did you buy that at Stitches?
Yes, I did.
I don't even remember seeing that.
I bought this when I was going in between the restrooms and going back to meet y'all, and I got distracted and picked this up. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, this one is from Shaky K Fibers. It is this is super fine merino, 4 ounces. And it's nice and squishy. Love that one. This one is from Dana of Unwind Yarn Company. It's called Bonnie Wee Thing. And you see that it's kind of reminds me of Neapolitan ice cream. It's kind of vanilla and light brown and pink.
Now, is the light brown coming from like a mixed BFL, or is it dyed the light brown?
You know, I don't know. It is merino.
Oh, so it's probably dyed the light brown. It's very pretty.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I think that'll make a nice, probably mauve-y finished color when it's finished. And then I've got 2 braids from Heather at Highland Handmaids. This one, you can probably guess what this one's called, because look at the colors. Very Ravelry-like. It's called Ravelry.
Ravelry?
Yeah.
That's cool. Ooh,
And
getting dog hair on my face.
that one is Superwash Merino.
I love those colors.
Yeah, me too. And then this one is called Sea Glass. And that is Superwash BFL.
That's gorgeous too.
BFL is, sorry,
Okay.
BFL is one of my other favorites.
I don't know why I didn't get any of that one. That one's really blue-green.
Notice there is no pink in this. So I can do it.
You can do it, yes. You can do...
Everything else has pink in it, but this does not have pink in it. So those are, I bought a lot of fiber at Stitches. I bought quite a bit of other things, but I didn't pull everything out, so anyway. I think
cool.
that is my stash enhancement.
Well, awesome. The only other thing I have for what I've been working on is just a little bit of spinning, and I'm only working on it because I brought it to work on while I was here. And it's just that Southern Cross fiber that I've been working on.
Take her.
Oh, sure. That sounds good.
Come here, Brat.
Oh, got my hair. So it's just this Southern Cross fiber, although this will probably be the first time you actually get to see the colors of it. And it's a really pretty combination of brown and blue and kind of a purple blue and a teal blue all together. So this I'm spinning a little bit thicker than I normally go with. I don't even remember what the fiber is. Oh, this is Polworth, and Polworth is kind of one that is becoming more popular. You didn't hear about it so much even like a year or two ago. But it's becoming a lot more popular, and I enjoy Polworth because it's pretty straightforward to spin, and the finished yarn comes out really it's kind of bouncy, you know. I know Rambouillet is very bouncy, but I wonder if I can put it back on itself a little bit. And so
Yeah,
it's got some
springy.
Yeah, it's I don't know how much. Just this little area here has got a decent amount of spring to it. So that's one I really like to work with, and it's also got. I don't know if you can see, but that's the length of
Pretty
the
good. Staple length.
stapling. Why wasn't I can't even think of that. See, I think my brain actually shuts down when she's around because it knows that she'll fill in for me.
Just work together, that's all.
But anyway, so it's got a nice long staple length, so it's good to spin with, similar to like a BFL would be, where it's not too long where the staple length gets in the way, but it's not so short that someone who's new to spinning would have a hard time with it. So I really like this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this particular spin comes out.
Kim is an excellent spinner.
Kristin taught me how to spin.
And she has surpassed me.
No.
Yes. Don't argue.
Okay.
Teacher, don't argue. That Cormo, by the way, that you saw in the last podcast, I can't even convey how bouncy and springy and squishy and beautiful it is. It's just spun. I don't know. I tend to overspin. She just has it perfect. I mean, if you could see in some of her close-ups how perfectly even the yarn is, and not only is it perfectly even, but it's light and lofty and springy, and it's just fantastic.
Well, you know, something I've been trying to do more often lately is when I'm spinning, I try to underspin the single a little bit. So essentially what that means is when I took this single here and I folded it back on itself, and I you know, you can see kind of what a 2-ply would look like. So one thing I've been trying to do a little bit more of lately, because I just kind of like how that comes out, is when I 2-ply this or put it back on itself, I want to see it a little less twisted than I want my finished yarn. Let me show you here. Sorry. So there's a little less twist in that finish. I don't even know if it can get that or not, but oof. Anyways, I'll try to take a picture and maybe edit it in that way. But and then what happens, this would be a balanced yarn, because this means that it's plied back on itself in an equal amount of twist to what the ply went the other way, if that makes sense. So it wants to balance itself back.
If it was overspun, you would get little kinks,
right,
sticking out, or the whole thing would spin up so much that it would kink up.
Right. But what I've been trying to do a little bit is, so this is what it would look like if I plied it balanced in the end. I've been trying to make it a little less twist than I want in my finished yarn, so that when I actually finish this yarn, it'll have a little bit more twist, and it will actually make that single puff up a little, because it takes a tiny little extra twist out of the single. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of helping get a little bit more fluff or fuller fibers. So I've really been enjoying how that comes out, actually.
Another thing I believe which makes your yarn so much nicer is that you don't waste any time. You spin your singles and then you almost immediately ply it, instead of it sitting spun in its single for too long.
Yeah, I try not to leave them more than like a week or so. But the one thing I really try to do for sure is after I ply it, I immediately take it off the bobbin. So, like, as soon as I'm done plying, it goes on the Lazy Kate and it goes on into the soak. I don't know if that has anything to do with how the finished yarn comes out or not, but it's just something that's worked for me in the past, and so that I just kind of stick with it. It's kind of like those baseball players that wear the lucky socks, so they don't know if they really work or not, but they wear them anyways.
I don't know what that has to do with yarn. Whatever.
But it's not as good as she says anyway, so we'll just leave it at that.
It is as good. Psst. Anyway. So, like I said, I am the author of Silver Sock Class, and I don't know if you've heard of Silver Sock Class, but what happened many years ago, I was actually making soap like cold process soap with lye and oils and fats and everything. And I was on a forum called the Soap Dish, and very chatty on there. This was before Ravelry was even.
What?
Yeah.
Was there?
There was a time before Ravelry.
Okay.
Many years ago. What, like 8 years?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, 7 or 8 years.
Something like that.
Anyway, so I was on the Soap Dish, and I was talking about my knitting, and I think I had posted a picture of socks that I knit, and the other ladies were like, oh my gosh, you made socks. I'd love to learn to make socks. So that started an actual thread where I taught the soap people how to make socks. And that actual thread is what I reformatted into Silver Sock Class, which is the original Silver Sock Class, which was knitting socks on DPNs.
Was it DPNs to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yep. That was the first one. And so after I made that one, you know, I got a lot of interest on it, and that, I think I did the 2 socks. I don't remember what the next one was, but anyway. So I've got the socks on DPNs, which I think is the beginner's level socks. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because I personally believe that if you can knit and purl, you can make socks. And, you know, if you like knitting on circulars, 2 circulars, magic loop, whatever, you know, go for it. So, but that's really where Silver Sock Class started. Started on a forum, and I turned it into Silver Sock Class, and it's been free since day one. And I've gotten a lot of letters from people who, many of them are like, I have taken sock classes, I've tried to learn to knit socks, and it just never clicked until I tried your tutorial, and oh my gosh, I made socks. You know, and it's over and over and over I hear that story. People who have learned to make socks. So, yeah.
Well, I think the thing that's so helpful about her tutorial, and obviously it's free, so we're not like pitching your product or anything. But, I think what made it so easy to follow for me, because that's really how I learned how to knit socks, like I was saying before, but you've got like a picture at every single step of the way. I mean, literally, if you go online and you look at that page, you'll see it says like, you know, knit 2 together, and there's a picture close up of her knitting, you know, the tips of her needles knitting into those knit 2 togethers. Or when you're making an increase, you know, there's a close up picture, and there's so many pictures along the way that you literally just have to go, okay, well, that's what that picture looks like, so that's what I'm doing with my needles. Oh, okay, that worked. You know, and so that's why I think that's been so successful for you.
I also, throughout the tutorial, kind of answered questions that popped up in my own head when I was learning to make socks. You know, I was like, why do you do this? You know, don't twist in the round. Well, why not? Or, you know, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but you know, I tried to preempt answering questions that you may have as you're knitting along, so that there's really, you know, I hope that you feel like I'm there with you, teaching you how to knit socks. And if you ever have a question, you can, of course, send me an email, and I will answer it as soon as possible. You know, I just believe that if you can knit and purl, you can knit socks. There's not really any magic to it. Well, I won't say that, because I still feel like turning the heel is magic.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's so neat.
Okay, we're going to have to take a quick break again, because my battery's dying now. So...
How long have we been talking?
I don't know. We're back again. Sorry about that. We'll get this whole thing worked out, but it'll be edited together, and it's going to be like seamless, and it'll seem like nothing to you guys. So that's great.
So they're going, what is she talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But,
I was just going to ask you about your sock class. Now, you were saying the other day something about maybe adding another bit to it.
I have thought about adding a new tutorial. If I can find the time. I don't want to make any promises, but I have been asked before, been asked several times, if I would consider making the similar type of tutorial on how to knit a sweater. So I have been thinking about that, and it's something that I have considered seriously. I don't want to make any promises, because I do have a full-time job, but, you know, that may come in the future. And if I do a sweater tutorial, it might not be free. I haven't decided.
Well, that one's going to have to be more complex with all the different sizes.
Yeah, it'll be a lot more complex. Won't be expensive, maybe a few bucks. but a similar walkthrough up close and personal how to knit a sweater. So.
But definitely, if you have not knit socks and you've thought about it, and definitely go and check out her site, because it's true. I mean, I'm telling you, we go to the shows, we go to Stitches South or whatever, and we bump into people and they see her name tag or whatever, and they go, "Oh, that's how I learned to knit socks." I hear it all the time, and but check it out, because it really is a great place, a great resource, lots of pictures, really user friendly, and then
I'm proud of it.
You should be.
I believe that eventually I will take over the world of sock knitters. So it's my dream.
It's a good plan.
Yeah. Well, everyone should have nice, warm, cozy feet.
Yes, they should.
Just
like
funny.
that.
You know what the funny thing?
Oh.
The funny thing is that I teach all these people to knit socks, and I have knit lots and lots of socks, but I swear I hardly ever wear socks. I am a habitual flip-flop wearer. Live in Florida. Flip-flops are appropriate footwear for all occasions, pretty much.
Yeah, because you have like sparkly ones for fancy occasions.
Yes. Yes, I have fancy ones. I have plain ones. I've got some ugly ones. I've got some cute ones. I did wear heels to my son's wedding, but
Did you?
I later switched into flip-flops.
Oh. I guess that's what I'm thinking. Were those the sparkly ones?
No, those were just black, but they're kind of formal. They're black. Anyway. So yeah, me, teaching you how to knit socks, and I hardly ever wear socks.
That's okay. You're a fabulous knitter, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So are you.
Thank you.
So anyway, one of my other claim to fames, I think it's a claim to fame, is, I don't know if you've heard of, I used to make knitting bags before I had a job.
She's the one that started my obsession with knitting bags. Because, I'll tell you guys. I think I may have mentioned it in a past podcast, but I used to think that stashing yarn was crazy, and who would do that? And I also
It's really funny now.
It is. And I also had no project bags, because that also, hey, Ziplocs were great.
Everything was in a Ziploc bag.
Yes, because they were great. But since then, the first project bag I ever saw was one of Kristin's project bags, and it was probably, the second time that we met or something? I saw one of her project bags and fell in love with its utility and the way it's, I know, I did mention it on a previous podcast, because I was saying how hopefully we could convince her to maybe someday make some more, because they're really functional, but...
I have lots of fabric already cut. All I have to do is sew it together, but I have a job. I went from being 20 years as a stay-at-home mom with plenty of time. My kids are now 20 and 22, so I had plenty of time to just do things and stay home and make knitting bags. And then I had the brilliant idea of getting a job. I worked for my husband, and he's a locksmith, like she mentioned in the last podcast. He's a locksmith, and I work at his shop as the dispatcher. I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday now. And for some reason, I don't have as much time as I used to.
Yeah, but at least you can knit at work.
I can knit at work.
You just can't sew at work.
Right. I probably could, but I don't have a whole lot of room at my desk. So anyway, I don't have time to make bags like I did before. Maybe eventually, I've only been working there for 6 months now. So maybe things are starting to even out and I'm getting used to it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll fit in some sewing time eventually. But anyway, what happened was, I had seen these kind of pouch bags for projects online, and back then they were only like very utilitarian. They came in solid colors. They were like brown and black and white and maybe pink if I was lucky. But anyway, I was like, you know what? I can make something similar and make it pretty. Because when you're out and you're carrying around your little knitting bag, it should be pretty. You want it to be pretty. So this is actually, I saw this fabric, and this is actually my prototype bag. The very first one that I ever made.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
See that fabric? It's got some sequins.
It sparkles?
And pink. Yeah, it's like a taffeta.
That's really pretty.
Embroidered taffeta, and I've got a hot pink satin liner inside. So this was my prototype. And, it's got the little strap there.
And my favorite thing about the way you did the strap is how you've got it where it snaps open. Because what I would always do is when I would go out knitting in public, or just even where, you know, I go to a get together or something, and you know, you bring a camping chair with you, and what I would do is, if I didn't have it on my wrist like that, is I would unsnap it entirely and put it around the arm of my camping chair and just dangle my bag right there, and it was perfect. It didn't touch the ground, and I had my yarn and my whole project right there ready to go.
So this was the very first prototype, and I posted pictures of it online. I don't think that was when Plurk was around. It was probably, I don't even remember what was before Plurk. But, you know, I got some feedback from my knitter friends, and they gave me some suggestions on how to make it better. And I eventually developed the Knitting on the Town bag. I call them that because they're fancy. They're made with brocade and satin, and, you know, they're cute. You know, if you have I mean, I feel like it could be an evening bag with the, you know, doesn't have to be a knitting bag. But from my prototype, there's no pockets on the front or anything. The strap is a little wonky. There is a pocket inside, but, you know, that was my prototype. What I eventually developed is this one. This is the finished bag, and the strap is nicer. It still has 2 snaps here. The point of that is, the reason why it's got 2 snaps is you can snap the bottom one and then slip it on your wrist and then snap the second one, which keeps it from slipping off your wrist. Also, 2 snaps make it a bit more secure, so that's why it's got the 2 snaps there. It's got the pocket in the front, so you can stick a wallet or whatever, you know, things in there. It just closes with a snap. So.
And what I like to do when I was going to an event or something, if I had just, you know, the little, where they hold just a couple credit cards and a little bit of cash, but they're real tiny and thin still. I used to slide that on the inside of my pocket, the inside pocket, so that I had my license, I had a credit card, I had a little bit of cash, and that was all I had to carry with me. And then my knitting project, and I was ready to go.
Yeah, that was pretty much the point of this bag. You know, you could put your essentials in there and grab it and go. Comes with a little coordinating bag for, you know, your scissors or whatever you might need to put in there. Inside, let me turn this inside out so you can see. The bags are fully lined. This is the inside of the bag. And it's got these 2 pockets right there. And then there's also like a pencil size pocket here, so you could stick needles or crochet hook or whatever down there. And then there's a loop here. The idea is you can run your yarn through that and, you know, keep it from wrapping around other things. A little yarn loop.
Now at this point, everybody's probably wondering why we're telling them about this amazing bag
that I don't make
that
anymore.
you don't make anymore, and that they can't get anywhere.
Can't get anywhere.
Nowhere.
Nowhere. This is the very last bag that I have.
The last one.
The last one.
Ever.
I don't have plans to be making any bags. I do have fabric, but like I said, I don't have time to make bags. This is the very last one. It's never been used. It was just ready to sell. And guess what?
One of you gets it. It's the giveaway. I know last time I said, stay tuned, hopefully I have a special guest. Special guest. And a very special giveaway. Very special giveaway. It's the last Knitting on the Town bag. When she said, hey, do you want this last bag for a giveaway? I was like, are you kidding me? Of course we want the bag. Oh my gosh. So, this beautiful purple, which is my color, and I can't win.
It's got butterflies on it too.
Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. But we are going to have a thread open up after I post this podcast, which I think I might do. It's long enough that I'm thinking we're just going to do a special episode and not do it on the normal day that I would post it. But once I get that posted, and I'll put up a giveaway thread. And what do you want the prompt to be? What should it say? What do you have to do to win?
What do you have to do to win? Tell me how, where you learned to knit socks. Doesn't have to be through me. And what's your favorite method for knitting socks? Do you like toe up? Do you like cuff down? Do you like DPNs? Circular needles? 2 circulars?
What if they've never knit socks?
If you've never knit socks, why not?
Why not? Okay, we'll put that as part of the prompt. If you haven't knit socks yet, why not?
That's fine. If you haven't knit socks, just say, that you never have. Maybe you're not interested in knitting socks, or maybe you didn't know about the tutorial. It's there. Please try it. I also have a little thing I'm going to throw in the bag, since I am the sock tutorial person. This is a mini sock blocker keychain with directions on how to knit the little sock, and you can put it on there and keep it as a keychain with a little sock on there. Awesome. And make lots of them and change it out, and I just thought that was cute. I have one myself. This one's an extra one, so I'm going to put this in the bag and you can have that too.
Awesome. That is cool. And another thing I can't win.
Nope.
I think I have one of those though.
You probably do.
And I think I've got like 4 of your bags.
Yeah, probably.
Because now I love project bags, and
She has a lot of project bags. Yeah.
I do have a lot of project.
Well, I got a bunch over there.
You do?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about then?
I don't know.
Well, that's all I can think of right now. Can you think of anything else?
No.
All right. I'll probably still do a regular episode next Friday. We had been doing knit night on Friday nights, and usually it's me and Kristin and Karina, and sometimes Kimber Knits is there, and we have a few other people that attend periodically, but lately everybody's schedule has been so crazy that
especially the end of the school year.
Yeah, exactly.
Busy.
We haven't been able to do it as much, but I was hoping maybe if we could do a knit night at some time, we could even record a little bit of that and kind of say hi to everybody and introduce the group. I know a lot of people on Instagram and Plurk know Karina as Picnic Knits, and Kimber is Knit Kimber Knits. So I think that would be kind of fun to introduce them as well. So maybe we'll try to do that next time if we can get everyone together.
Before we go, I just wanted to take a moment to point out some things that you might be looking at behind us, since we're in my craft room. Just in case you were curious, up here you might see a swift that is sideways. Down below, it's behind Kim.
Can you see
There's
it?
the yarn ball. And it's a vertical yarn ball station, yarn winding station. I found that works fantastically. It uses less space than, putting it across your room. So that's what that's for. As you can see, I've got lots of things just all over the place. I don't know. Over here is my wall of sheep.
Oh, you can see that. Oh, that's awesome.
I've got just all sorts of different sheep and stuff up there. And yeah, my craft room is just filled with things that I love. There's a lot of memory things in here. It may look a little crazy and chaotic to some people, but pretty much everywhere I look in here is something that I love, and it reminds me of something. And this is my favorite room in the house, and sometimes I just come in here and don't even craft. Yeah. I just read or whatever.
That's awesome. So, maybe we'll take a couple pictures and edit them in so that people can get a look at the creative mind of Kristin, because she, I do things that are a lot more, I wouldn't consider myself a creative person. I mean, I'm not artistic, I can't draw, I can't, I like things that are symmetrical, I like things that are mathematical, that are, strict formulas. I don't know why, that's just the way that my mind works. So, like in my craft room, there are 2 shelf units, and maybe next time I'll put a little tour of my craft room, but there are 2 shelf units side by side, like perfectly symmetrical, with yarn on one side and fiber on the other side, because if I had like an extra unit in there or something, that would mess with my mind.
Right,
Like,
what would you put in there? You have fiber and yarn.
Well, but I'm just saying, if there was like an uneven number on one side than the other, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, not so much here.
Yeah, she definitely has a creative space, and mine's more of like a...
Well, you are very book smart, and you're very, very knowledgeable about everything. Like, she can rattle off a sheet breed and tell you everything about the fiber, and I'm just like, it's pretty. It's squishy. I like it. You know?
That's how my brain works, though. I remember, like, the tiniest little inconsequential details about the dumbest things. But then, I mean, not the sheep breeds are dumb. That's not dumb. That's important stuff. But other things, yeah. Like, I can tell you the phone number for when my husband was deployed in Japan when we were not married yet 24 years ago. I don't know why I can tell you that, but I can. He still has me rattle it off every now and
I don't
then.
know if I remember my last phone number.
But those things stick with me. But then artistic-wise, nothing. Not even, I mean, stick figures are a stretch. But she can draw and she can do all these beautiful creative things, so it'd be great for you guys to get to see what a creative person's craft room looks like.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I look at it and it just looks like my head exploded in here, but, you know, I guess
that's why I like it so much in here.
I like it.
Anyways, well, I'm really glad that y'all are watching this and hopefully got a chance to get to know Kristin a little bit better and why I love her so much. And she's my bestie. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we'll get to do this more often.
We're like peas and carrots.
But maybe next time we'll do show notes first.
That would be
good.
See, that's typical. In her craft room, she's got her show notes. She's got everything written down. She knows what she's talking about. In here, I'm kind of like pulling stuff out of the air, you know. And that's typical. That's pretty much the way it goes.
That's fun too.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. We go together.
Yep. Hey guys, I wanted to film a little bit of fleece processing before I finished up this week's video. I'm working on this Polworth fleece from New Zealand, and I think it's a really good example of why it's a good idea to sort through your fleeces, particularly if the locks have different structures to them. And what I mean by that is I have these here, and these are kind of like really nice sturdy locks that are all about the same length with the same crimp structure through here, and they don't really have a lot of problems with the tips. But then from the exact same fleece, I have this, and I don't know if you can see this, but you see this lock right here has an extremely weak point right across there, and all of this down here is also a little bit darker brown, but it's still good, fleece to work with. But this up here is just going to come right off. In fact, I can pop that off right now, but I'm actually choosing to leave these on because these cut ends, when you wash this fleece, will felt a little bit. And if I pop this off right now, I'm worried that the top will felt a little bit as well. So I'm actually just going to pull those off when I'm done. But back to what I was talking about with sorting the fleece. What I'm doing is spreading out this fleece and just going through it little bit by little bit and trying to make piles of, like this is kind of shorter length, but it doesn't have that, really tender area right here. So I'm going to put that over, in this pile that I've got going on here. But these ones that are, obviously going to need a little bit of extra help after they've been washed, I'm putting all of these into this pile over here. Now, another important point about pre-sorting your fleece, unless you have like just the most amazing fleece that doesn't have any veg matter and is all consistent throughout, consistent crimp, consistent lock length, is doing this sorting ahead of time will save you troubles in the long run. So, if I'm looking through here, let me see if I can find an example. Well, I'll just pull this. So I'm pulling this off right here. And of course I found some pretty nice locks actually. So I'm going to pull these down into smaller pieces, and what's going to happen when I do that is not only is this going to open it up a little bit more so that I can go in and get that really well washed. You know, that soap's going to get in there and soak any that lanolin out, and it's going to get any dirt out. But the other thing that happens is it gives me the opportunity to go ahead and, you know, if I see any veg matter, if I find any little burrs or whatever the case is, or shortcuts, I can go ahead and take those out now, and then I don't have to worry about it when I'm processing. And you could kind of see here, this is kind of my junk pile, and these are some shortcuts I've pulled out while I was going through here, and I had some, you know, these little burrs that I'm pulling out, and it just saves me the trouble when I'm done washing it from having to try to pick that out afterwards, because it's going to come out a lot easier now, I think, than it will when I'm trying to decide if I'm going to card or comb. Most likely what I'm going to wind up doing with this fleece is these nicer locks I think I'll probably wind up washing, possibly even individually, for a very fine spin, because I don't know that there's going to be a ton that are these really, really nice ones. So it's going to be something that would be better suited for, you know, a limited quantity, and I want to do some fine spinning with that. But these ones here, where I know they're going to be short because all these tips need to come off, I'm going to, instead of like combing those, I'm going to probably put those through the drum carder. Or these ones that are a little bit nicer, but, you know, don't quite have the same crimp structure as the really nice ones, I'll put those on hand cards, or I can blend that with something. And you know, just don't necessarily think that a lock like this can't be used. It's just that it needs to be used in a different way. Really, that's all I wanted to say. I do usually try to pull the fleeces out and lay them out like they would be if they had just come off of the sheep, you know, with legs, you know, stretch out, and the body, the best part of the body right in the middle. But if I had one complaint about this particular fleece, it would be that it kind of came all crammed into a bag, and I had a hard time, you know, identifying the different parts of the body. But it's really not mattering. You know, this is a really nice New Zealand Polworth, and it's not, it was heavily skirted before I got it, so there's not a lot of areas where there's a lot of edge or dirt or, you know, nasty matter that we need to get rid of. But anyways, I just thought I'd share that and kind of go through maybe some of the reason why you might want to go ahead and sort through a fleece, and just take your time. It's like when you knit, you know, you take a lot of time to put every single stitch into that project. Or when you spin, you know, you spend a lot of time getting just the right amount of twist. So put that same kind of effort and the willingness to put that kind of time into your sorting as well, and I think that you'll be really pleased with the outcome. One thing I will say though is if this were like a major processor or something and they were doing a lot of fleeces, they would go through it pretty quickly and they wouldn't be worried about losing so much. But you know, that's not me. I'm a home processor, and so I've got the time and the energy and the ability to, you know, take a moment and really do the best that I can. The final thing is, this is a washed lock from this fleece that I just pulled out and I washed. It is actually one of the ones from my discard pile over there. It was discarded because it had an odd kind of sticky material right through the middle of the lock. But by hand washing it, I was able to get it out just to see, you know, how this fleece was going to look when finished. I'm really happy with it, and I can't wait to see how these really nice kind of golden tan locks are going to look when they're all cleaned up and ready to go. All right. Well, we'll see you all next time, and thank you for joining us. Be sure and check out the Cottage Industry Fibers podcast group on Ravelry and enter into the giveaway thread so you have a chance to win that awesome Knitting on the Town bag and the little sock blocker. I guess that's about it. And be sure and do the feed on cottageindustryfibers.wordpress.com, because that way you'll see when the next episodes air. I think that's about it. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.